I want to talk about two distinct reactions to this, and you don't have to go far to find a lot. But the two I want to talk about are the AMC Theaters CEO Adam Aron's reaction, as well as Christopher Nolan. We'll touch on these briefly. And I know they have to be, but I admire the passion and urgency of AMC Theaters and CEO Adam Aron in being a staunch proponent of the theatrical experience. I get it's the whole friggin' model, and they have to be. That's their business. But, like, I admire them for that, but their bullish attitude often makes them come off as resistant to change, which I think they really deep down are. I think they've shown that over the last several years, how they've been very vehemently opposed to like revenue sharing models, as well as like, I mean, the good old Tower Heist comparison when that was almost going to go to video on demand, which we bring up way too much on the show. But there's no real surprise that Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC, unloaded on Warner. My favorite quote is what he said: "We understand that Warner is sacrificing a considerable portion of the profitability of its movie studio division, production partners, and filmmakers to subsidize its HBO Max startup." That was my favorite quote. I'm like, man, free. What do I always say, gentlemen? Free smoke. Anyone can get it. But that's
it's
why
HBO.
That's why it's free.
Jesus Christ.
Free smoke. Anyone can get it. That's why it's free. But AMC's pissed off about this, and I think AMC is mainly pissed more so because they weren't consulted, as really nobody was. Yeah. And that's kind of where Christopher Nolan's beef lies on this too. Nolan has kind of been on the wrong side of history throughout this entire thing. We talked ad nauseum about Tenet. Tenet is still up until next week when we actually review Tenet. Tenet is the most discussed movie on this show that we've never actually reviewed.
That's so true.
We are going to talk about, we're going to review that next week, but moreover, Christopher Nolan's kind of been on the wrong side of history throughout this whole pandemic, kind of using his muscle to get it in to be the one to test the waters of cinema going in America to see how if it would be viable during a pandemic. But Nolan makes a decent point in saying that changing the model isn't the controversy, at least in his eyes, but it's the fact that Warner didn't let anyone know ahead of time about this whole matter. Is there anything to kind of put a bow on this topic, at least for now, because Lord knows there's going to be a time where by the end of the month we're going to address this again.
We're going to have Christopher Nolan on the show by the end of the month, man.
Probably. Any final thoughts, I think, on whether it's you tie it into Adam Aron or Christopher Nolan's strong words, or any final thoughts on this matter before we segue?
I'll side with Nolan on this, actually. On his matter of it was a blindsided hit, because there are other directors actually coming out now who are like, I wasn't even informed about this. Like, I didn't even have a say. I would have waited for a 2022 release at the very least. James Gunn is one of them. There's many others too who are coming out and being like, yeah, they didn't inform any of us. Apparently this was just a behind closed doors decision with just probably executives and nobody else. And they were just like, let's get it out there. It sucks that, yeah, I do think it's kind of bogus. If there's the one thing I hate about this deal is you probably should have asked these directors to see if they wanted their movies coming out onto the platform or not. I'm sure many of them do, and many of them have actually been like, yeah, I'm fine with it, like Patty Jenkins has. It's just there has been a few that's like, I actually would have rather waited because I like the theater experience. And there's nothing wrong with that. If they want to wait for it, that's fine. It should have been left up to them.
Dominic, any final thoughts?
Sorry, if you see me fiddling with my headphones, I'm just working them out. New setup. But in terms of I'm actually with you on that, Joe, because it did blindside the people we care about the most, which is not the little guy, but the artists, the people that we look up to there, and all the spotlight is on. I'll go on the other side of that coin and look at Adam Aron. It's like, dude, every time you freaking open your mouth on this topic, you just sound like the horse carriage industry when cars started taking over. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, dude, just stop. Just don't stop. But calm down a bit, and don't be so hostile to something that one is saving lives, right? Because that's my concern is the lives, and in this whole saga that's been coronavirus, that's my personal thing that I care about the most. And every time you make statements like this, I understand you represent hundreds of thousands of employees, probably. I don't know, all these theaters, all these businesses. I get that. That's your job. But just if you word it like that, it just sounds like you don't give a shit about the people you're endangering. Because there is that probably unintentional subtext, but certainly the subtext that the money that you're making cares more about than the lives that you're potentially sacrificing at the altar of your giant screens. So I don't know, but in terms of, and again, I 100% that he has to make a stink about it because he is getting hurt by this. But hey, Save Our Cinemas Act, or sorry, Save Our Stages Act, SOS, that needs to get passed. Politics matters. Okay.
Yeah. Dominic's got to get the last word in on that.